Welcome to the show. Today's episode is proudly sponsored by Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. More on them in a bit.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Marvel Multiverse Mondays. I'm just going to say this right off the top for this episode. Spoilers start whenever we want, so stop listening now if you haven't done. Just here, 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spoilers. This week's episode is episode 4 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The World is Watching, I believe is the full title.
Is watching.
As you can tell, I'm joined by Kyle, as always. Hello, Kyle.
How's it going, everyone?
Now, before we get into, let's talk about one of my theories real quick.
Okay.
Which I can't remember where I said it, but I said it in the last week. I may have said it on Breaking Geek. I may have said it on this show last week. I may have even typed it to someone on Slack. But I remember writing, I 100% guarantee that Hoskins and John Walker are getting the superheroes program. Guess who didn't get it?
Yeah. One of them did. The other one didn't. But Hoskins did say if he was offered it, he would take it. So
yeah, but he died before he had the chance to.
Yeah.
Not that there was more than one vial.
Yeah, that we know of. I counted 9 stomps that I heard.
And there's supposed to be 12 total, I believe. And unless we don't know about someone else.
Yeah, exactly. Like I tried to count, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're saying just accept that all but one were hit. I don't know. But I counted 9, and then Walker's would be 10. So there's potentially either 2 more super soldiers, 2 more vials, or it's just the one, and my counting is for nothing.
I think when she opened the case, there were 12 in it initially. Remember when she opens it and looks at it? And I just assumed that all of them were smashed except for one, because you could smash multiple ones with one
exactly
stomp.
Like
but
I
we
said,
don't know. You're right.
Don't know. All I know is that was one thing that I was doing because I was trying to count to 12 because you're kind of cheering him on to do it. I know.
I was
smash him. You're like, hurry up, get more, smash more.
Before we get to that, so another theory that I just kind of pondered with you at the end of last episode is if Zemo would take it to fight them, and it appears the answer to that is no. He would just rather destroy them all.
I did think for a moment that what's her name was going to stab him with it, though. I did think
make someone else a superhero.
What if
they have to stab him with?
What if? Because she has to know. She knows about him. They've alluded that she at least knows that he doesn't like super soldiers, and what better way to fuck with someone than to make them something that they despise,
And then Zemo goes back to his original plan from Civil War, and he kills all of them, and then he shoots himself. Just like he tried to do in Civil War.
Which is something you and I said, and he kind of alludes to it in this show. I've got the guts to do the job. Do you guys?
Yeah, he questions. Yeah, I love Zemo. Okay, I want to jump ahead to that scene real quick, and then we can go through the episode because it was an interesting scene. I was yelling "fuck yeah" during that. This is an episode where I either yelled "fuck yeah" or "oh fuck" at least 6 times watching it. I usually don't yell when watching television alone. Glad it wasn't late. It was like
don't
11.
Lie, Nick. You yell at TV alone all the time.
I cry more than I yell at. But I yelled "fuck yeah." I thought Zemo was gonna kill her, Kelly. It's not that I don't like her character. It's that I thought they would fully transition to a Zemo villain in that moment.
I thought it was a possibility. Yeah,
I thought he was gonna kill her, but I still liked the way it turned out because that ending. I've watched the ending about 20 times and the episode only twice. Like the last 5 minutes are your money, man.
Yeah, definitely. It's
my favorite.
It's a really good episode, and I just want to point out that this show's going exactly the route I described before the series started.
Yeah, well, we all knew this was the John Walker part was going to come. There's no way he doesn't get juiced. That's why I said 100% sure as of last week, but I was wrong about Hoskins.
You and I
Hoskins.
were curious if he had been
That's
getting
true.
it, but obviously he hadn't been getting it.
You can, in this episode, definitely tell between which scenes he got it to. They make it really obvious. Like my mom was like, "Did he? Are they inferring that he had it?" I'm like, "No, mom. They confirmed he had it.
Yep.
He threw that shield through the wall or into the
Yep.
wall." So I guess we need to start all the way back at the beginning in 2018
Yeah, with the White Wolf.
in Wakanda, which I think Sebastian. I know he won't get it because of the genre. I think Sebastian Stan has been so wonderful during this series, especially in this scene, that he would be an Emmy contender in my mind, just as much, if not more, than Wanda, Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah.
Like this opening scene is powerful, where she frees him. She says it twice because he looks at her with doubt, because she reads the words. They trigger a lot of memories we've seen from other movies, but he doesn't go full Winter Soldier.
Yep.
Which is kind of a moment they've referenced but not talked a lot about. Like, yeah, he was resting there, but obviously the plan was always to deprogram him in some way, and we know that's happened because the first time we've seen the words used against him since Civil War were in the last episode. He's like, "I don't work like that no more."
Yep. It was good. It's powerful scene. And it ties in with his past trauma, and a line later on from John Walker about his medals of honor. And he's like, they give us these things on our chests to remind us of the worst days of our lives. And again, I'm really happy that Walker and I mean, we've got 2 episodes left, so things can,
3 potential villains, basically.
Things can still,
depending how it falls.
Yeah, but I've loved the depth that they've given Walker as a soldier myself. I know what that's like. I know what both sides are like. I know what it's like to sit there and get an award and be like, I just did my job. I did my job. That's it. I got paid. That's my award for doing
the money.
my job. I didn't do anything spectacular. Other times it's like, okay, yeah, I'll take this achievement medal. I did go above and beyond this time. But then I've also seen people in Iraq and Afghanistan not fire a single round into a test fire pit. That means they never stepped outside the wide. They never went out on any patrols. But because they were an E7 or higher, they got a bronze star. Like I know so many people, including my father-in-law. Hi Jerry, who will be up front. I earned my first one 100%. The second one they just gave to me because of my rank. And like, that's got to feel, you guys can imagine what it must feel like to get something for nothing. It's not, when you're a decent person, it's not the greatest feeling. It's like, why did I get, those guys over there they did way more shit than I did. But at the same time, then you got those awards, usually those high-end ones, or ones with, in the Army we call a V device for valor. So an Army Commendation Medal, a Meritorious Service Medal, Bronze Star, Silver Star with a V device means, like, this could have almost been, one up. It was combat related, and those are reminders of, like he said, the worst days of your life.
Yeah, that was all good stuff. Okay, so let's one other thing before we move forward with our typical format. I did watch part of, what's the American guy who does it? Is he New Rockstars?
Eric Voss.
Yeah, there's like the 2 main people I listen to are an Australian and that guy. I watched part of one today, because the guy who has the theory about the pandemic storyline being cut.
Yeah, that's Voss. That's New Rockstars.
I'd heard that rumor too, but when he's doing his video this week, I didn't watch all of it. He shows the source as that story as "we got this covered." That's the website he puts up when there's a story about maybe it was delayed, maybe it was rewritten because of the pandemic. And we all know how we all feel about we got this covered.
Yeah.
LRM. They make up so many.
Oh, they look. I'll say this. They have had a shit ton of stuff turn out not confirmed, not true, but that doesn't mean that they don't have someone that said this is what I heard at Marvel or this is what. But the problem is you got some people out there that are like taking water cooler talk at, let's say, Warner Brothers. God, dude, wouldn't it be awesome if we went ahead and did like that Green Lantern core show, and like we get into like Blackest Night like in season one, and it's just water cooler talk, but the leaker or the insider tells someone, oh, I heard a couple writers talking about this at the water cooler. And I'm not saying that that's what we got this cover does, but I could see.
They just have so many
shit
good
like
to
that,
be true stories that's like
Yeah.
they're just throwing it
And
out
shit
there.
doesn't
and then people
pan
share
out.
it and they forget about it.
Yeah.
It's like it feels like, they just want the clicks, where it's like, hey, guess what? Spider-Man 4 is happening, everyone. I know there's a different site that said that this week. What's like, oh yeah, I'll click that if I'm naive and not even realizing I'm going to them half the time.
Yeah.
It's too good to be true story.
And
I also wanted to bring them up for one. The main reason is they put out a story this week that was sent to me by a jammer and Jonesy and stuff. It was an article that said 80% of people watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier turned it off during the cop scene.
oh yeah,
It's like, how would you know that 80%?
because some insider said that they
They
were
made that
watching
up,
the
I'm sure people did turn it off. People have reacted poorly to that in the comment section. I mean, it can fall on a kind of political divide, it's
yeah,
an
but
issue in
that's a
politics.
realistic.
But 80%
thing, so
turning it off?
no,
I'm sure a good
Yeah.
percentage did. I bet it'd be below 10.
I don't even think it would be maybe 5%.
It's just, like even if you don't agree with it, you're like, it's entertainment, at least as far as I'm concerned.
Most people are, but we got to remember that 24-hour news cycle, as they show here in the late part of the show, the social media aspect as well, certain messages get blasted out
Amplified.
louder. There's the word amplified. Sony is a great example. Everyone knows I love railing on Sony.
I thought you were gonna say you love Sony.
No,
Like, yeah,
there's
that's right.
there's a great video. It's like something the science guy or science man or something. He does numbers, and he actually went through the whole Ghostbusters 2016 Answer the Call trailer reaction. Found out like percentages of actual like abuse, message or comments with abusive words versus just negative words of I don't like this versus you're blankety blanks, I hate women or whatever. And then he went in and he found where at least someone with access to Sony's YouTube channel purposefully was deleting positive comments to make to make
would not surprise me.
What they were trying to do was double down on the negativity and be like, now go show these horrible which actually because it was such a small number.
I thought it was them shitting on one of their employees shitting on their movie there too.
No, and he showed how it was like where you can even see in the campaign when Feig and some others got out there and started like leaning into the narrative of it's only disliked because it's what term did incels or some shit like that? I think that's it. Like the angry guys that don't have sex or some shit. They try to say it was like all that, but this guy, it's a really cool video. It's Ghostbusters Answer the Call, by the numbers, and some science guy, science man, science something channel.
Simon, I hope that's clever.
But it's when you've got that type of thing, people, yeah, it'll spread like wildfire because somebody can make money off of it through clicks on their web. And I'm not even talking about necessarily like a trade. It could be a blog, a YouTuber. It could be it could be a major news site even, or a local news site just looking to drive some traffic to its page. You know, it's kind of sad to see misinformation, and especially when people are gonna say shit like that doesn't happen. There's a case in my home state, well, not my home state, but where I live right now, not exactly like that, and there are very, very many contextual things missing from it. But regardless, what we do know looks fucking horrific and is reminiscent of what we see in Falcon and Winter Soldier. So, and this happened to a black man in uniform. So,
I saw that video.
Yeah. So,
I didn't
like
know
I said,
that was by you. Yeah,
there's a lot of context that's missing, but regardless, what you see is not good, no matter the context, because that's a guy not posing any threat, hands outside the window, like, I'm scared, somebody call me, yelling and all that, and pepper spraying someone that didn't move their hands is, look, guys, it shit happens. It does. But on the other side of that, bad things aren't nearly as common as people think they are. Again, because of the media and amplification. Anyways.
Well, actually, before we move on to the show, there's one interesting thing about that video too, without getting political at all. There's actually, you can watch it from both the cops' point of views. Yep. It's interesting. You don't normally get two different videos of the same event. So I don't know. I found that very interesting.
It is.
Get onto it too much.
Yep. Exactly. Because like it's an ongoing thing. We've got that video, but we don't know the stuff that led prior to the stop, and the stuff afterwards all comes into play when cases like this of abuse come in. But regardless, it's very simple. I had rules of engagement in Iraq and Afghanistan, and sometimes I hated them, and sometimes they do put our lives in danger, and you can't compare combat to street policing in any way. But what I'm trying to get at is training. Our police forces don't get nearly enough target acquisition, identification, and engagement training. So, and it's a whole fucking mess. But if you did turn off at that scene because you felt that was political, guys, I think I may have even upset Nick by saying this show's not going to be as political as people think it is. It's going to be very realistic and very personal. And it turns out to not be as political as some people thought it would be. Not you, but like even these guys turning off the TV.
It's about what I expected.
It's not what a lot of people were thinking. Like, I know some people that were raging against this before it even hit the air, and I'm like, why
Sam Wilson's story. I mean, the Winter Soldier too, but it's a unique story Marvel hasn't told yet, even with Black Panther.
And I rail against things that I don't like, sure, but I've seen them, and I'll bring up Ghostbusters as an example. I've repeatedly said this does not look like a Ghostbusters Afterlife. This doesn't look like a Ghostbusters movie. I don't like the way this looks because I would prefer some blue collar, high cleverness with a little touch of bathroom humor comedy, and that's what we're not getting. But I've also said I think this movie can be good, and I hope it is good. I just don't think it fits Ghostbusters. So come on, guys, come back to Falcon and Winter Soldier if you left.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. So the first thing we talked about, second scene then cuts to them in modern day, right? This is where they have the conversation. Is it Io, right? Is that her name?
Io. I think he said
not the other one.
I think he said Io or Ao.
There's like two main Dora Milaje or whatever you pronounce it.
It is Ao. I'm just not sure. Or it's AYO. I just don't. Yeah.
So again, like it's a scene at the end of the last episode where she's like, "You really Zemo," and he's like, "He's an ends to a mean," which is what Zemo called him earlier in the series. Yeah, the very Machiavellian thought, like the ends justify the means. And he gives her back her balls. Sorry. And then she gives him 8 hours.
She already had a bigger set than most of the guys there.
And we see that later for sure. My God, they're good fighters. I love those. I love Wakandan characters. But also note that Bucky knows Wakandan now. Like how many languages? He speaks like every language.
Do you think he didn't already know Wakandan as the Winter Soldier? I bet he did.
Even before he went to live there?
I bet he did. I
guess if you can program someone, you can program as many languages as you want into their head.
The Soviets and the Nazis and Hydra knew enough about Wakanda because of dealings with Claw and access to vibranium being in the U.S. government hands and stuff like that. So yeah, I could see him having dealt with, and maybe we'll learn that is maybe why they were able to help him or offered to help. We know why T'Challa offers to help. He learns the truth, but the kingdom itself may have been willing to help him because of past things. I don't know. It'd be kind of interesting to follow.
Absolutely. So I think from this scene, don't we go straight into Zemo's sweet ass pad?
Yeah.
He's such a classy dude. He's got drinks all around.
And
he's like
garbage fucking handy.
Yeah. I know, right? Turkish delights are nasty. I've even had them.
I'd almost rather take like grandma's 5-year-old butterscotches.
I'd rather have a Werther's original any day over
exactly.
Turkish delight. They're nasty. Oh, but yeah, they have they're having the conversation like, where do we go next? We need to find out about her funeral. We don't know where it is. And then he tosses Sam, I think, a Turkish delight.
Mm-hmm.
The irresistible, and then he pours a bunch on the counter because they're going to see the place where she was at, and no one will talk to them. The one guy even levels with Sam. He's like, "I know who you are. I just won't talk to you right now," because they're all part of they're being protected by the Flag Smashers. Basically, they're all in a way they're Flag Smasher
adjacent.
I was even gonna say like sympathizers.
Yeah.
And they're being given like vaccines and stuff.
Yeah, for supplies, survival supplies and things.
Because they're somehow this show has taken it from, you look at it and you're like, oh, all the people who showed up are misplaced. But it's like, no, the rich people who are misplaced get right back in their spot, and these guys go on the street, as I kind of talk about in the episode.
Well, it's not just necessarily rich people. Of course, that's who anybody that doesn't. This is the thing. It's human nature to be jealous, right? And jealousy always leads you to blame those who have something you don't, that you wish you did. The reality of it is, no matter how you slice it, there's no legal precedence for an event like this. So
no, it's impossible.
And we gotta exactly, and we gotta remember that while yes, a wealthier person would have money for longer litigation and things like that, we're only a year after Endgame here in this
6
in this
months.
show, or 6 months. Yeah,
Yeah, not
6
even.
months after Endgame.
GRC, I believe it is.
Right. So we have a lot of legal stuff to cope with because everyone that owned property before the snap, technically, because unless laws were passed,
Well, it didn't work out that way for Aunt May.
right?
Of her joke in Spider-Man.
Exactly, but Spider-Man's got comedic things, and we did, like, I never expected him to keep the word blip going past Spider-Man. Like, I really did.
The adult version of the word and the kid version.
But you would
I
have
love the decimation.
Yeah, you would have
a good name.
Everyone from the whole homeless to the 0.01% losing land, houses, property, all of that. And yeah, you're gonna have some, not all, because you got to remember there was still a lot of rich people left on Earth. So there's even rich people that took over stuff and fought against the people coming back, and probably won and kept other rich people that were dusted from coming back. So these camps are literally as diverse as the group that was left behind.
Well, yeah, it's like, I mean, if the pandemic we're going through killed off half the people in the world, we formed different, alliances and stuff. We wouldn't expect them to pop back, which is the situation everyone's living through. Is like, oh, you guys are back after we spent 5 years, making a life for ourselves and growing up and growing older. Split is. I love how they're just not ignoring it at all in phase 4 yet. Every single project's like, everything got fucked because maybe Loki will avoid it because he disappeared before the blip in his timeline.
Yeah,
but
he's got his own issues to deal with.
God, that was a good trailer. But staying on topic, so they go, and he gives them trinkets to lights, the little kids, to get information that he won't, and he tells them not to talk to Sam Wilson or Bucky because they're bad men. But I love his line where he's like, "This used to be my son's favorite." Because you're like, no, that's because he lost his family. It's because it's so sad. But that's what makes him less creepy, I think, around little children, is the fact that he had a son.
Maybe.
Which is also why he has that old ass candy. Good Lord. If he's been in jail, does Turkish Delights get better over 5 years or 7 years? That was my main thought. But then do we cut to a different group? I don't know. This episode cuts back and forth a lot.
So we get a scene with the Flag Smashers listening in about
when they're out in the
what's her
like
name,
the broken down castle or whatever, right? Yeah.
Bombing job, and that's when she gives her whole, one world, one people thing.
And the GRC is racing because of her response.
Yes,
is racing to do things quicker.
Yeah, we got to get people resettled, get the world back to normal.
And it labels them as a terrorist group, obviously, but they're also, the same news report also says, they still have lots of sympathizers because of what they're fighting for.
Yeah,
they're basically fighting for half the population in a way. Well, I mean, some of them are fine off.
Yeah,
it's just
some people had families to come back to that were left behind, and we don't. I love that what we know is that it's chaos, because in reality that's all it would be is chaos for
look at that
everyone.
one scene from WandaVision.
Exactly. So it's just way to go, Marvel.
Marvel knocks it out of the park especially with this episode. Like, I was just watching it and I'm like, and the Zemo dance that was released this week, I was like,
I know that
Marvel gives me everything I've ever fucking wanted.
Joked with you about it.
Yeah, Marvel gives me stuff I didn't know I wanted, like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
like, I didn't know who those characters were. Marvel, I'm so glad I'm a Marvel fan more than a DC fan. But that's a different topic for another day too, because a lot of DC fans are perfectly fine with getting what they have. But so they cut to them. They know they're infamous. Eventually we cut to John Walker and Hoskins. John Walker and Hoskins, they kind of not catch, but don't they meet up with
yes, they
our trio like right after they get the information, because they're kind of on their way to the
Same place.
They're
Same
going to the
thing.
funeral at this point, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
they're
their
straight there.
goal. They both of them have this same mission. You know, find what's her name and find the serum.
In between, Kelly stops at an old Kelly, right? Carrie, I forget.
Carrie Kellyman or Aaron Kellyman is the actress's name.
Oh, well, I was thinking of the character's
Molyneux is the character's name, isn't it? Molyneux.
What's her first name?
That I don't remember.
We were talking about early. I forgot it. Anyway, they stop at a grave where they've hidden the rest of the superhero serum.
Carly.
Soldier serum. Carly, yeah.
Morgenthau. Why'd I get Molyneux?
But she's there with another guy. She's pulling him out, and he's like, "Are you sure we should create other super soldiers?"
Yeah.
You know, she's like, "Yeah, like why not?" kind of thing. She's also hesitant, and he's the guy who's like, "Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, I actually looked up to Captain America, you know, but I've grown out of it. But like, I looked up to those ideals. Kind of both agreed that, you know, kind of the same agreement that Carly has with Sam Wilson's sister. I might as well throw that part in. No, that comes later. But later she has a conversation with her about the shield does not represent either of them because she's a part of America that is Sam Wilson's sister is a part of America that is not often, you know, they're not represented because of situations like Sam Wilson not taking the shield. But so from there they go to there's little fights at big fight. Well, no, Sam Wilson goes in first.
Yeah, Sam
because he's
Sam
like, let me handle it.
Yeah, he's got to handle some business, and good thing about talking business as our sponsor for this show. They have a business, and it's called growgeneration.com, and we should definitely listen to this amazing ad from one of our very own. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say her name, but anyways, check it out.
Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. For all your cultivation needs, Grow Generation has the right products, service, and staff to make your grow successful. Go to growgeneration.com, where the pros go to grow.
Wow, that was a fantastic ad. Wow. Thank God for our sponsor. Remember, you can send me free samples anytime you want, so I can like really talk about how great it is on this show and Kyle's morning show when I'm offered the chance to be on there. So yeah, reach out to me.
You're hilarious.
So from there, they send and Sam Wilson. He's trying, he's leveling with her. He has a lot more in common with her than he does with Walker.
Yeah,
I mean, he's talking to her. They can relate. And then everything gets fucked up because Walker won't be fucking patient because he's so insecure about everything.
Yeah.
He's just insecure. He has an interesting tick too, where he like rubs his forehead.
Well, because this is the point where he's had the serum already. He
hasn't had it in this part yet. This is the part where Zemo
this is where he does
her.
get it.
This
That's
is
right.
still where he's like, so he marches in, fucks it up, things go crazy. She runs. Zemo comes across her, shoots her. She doesn't die, but all the serum smashed on the ground, falls on the ground, and Zemo smashes as many as he can before he
starts his dance moves again.
Yeah, the Zemo dance. Only he's smashing things.
Yep.
And then the whole process, I believe John Walker picks up a vial and they get away. Other than that, we still have our quartet of characters.
Pretty much. Yep.
And they head back to Zemo's apartment to regroup. And there they are attacked by the Dora Milaje or whatever. I always feel like I'm saying it wrong. Like I'm missing syllable.
Dora Milaje.
Yeah, something like that.
There is another vowel sound in there. I believe you're right. I can't think of it.
As far as we've seen, they're the most effective fighting group, like next to Black Widows. Mm-hmm. They kick ass. Because they've come for Zemo. It's been 8 hours. We're here for Zemo. I love John Walker's move to just put his hand on her shoulder, Ao's shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't worry about it. There's a whole not your jurisdiction line where it's like, well, why the fuck is it your jurisdiction either?
Yeah.
And he goes to be like cocky American, also just like, don't worry about it. We got it. And then a big fight breaks out. Bucky can be seen drinking alcohol during the fight for certain parts. Just kind of watching Zemo and John Walker getting their ass kicked.
I would too.
Yeah. And then Zemo escapes. Walker is completely embarrassed. When they throw the second javelin or spear, it prevents him from even picking up his own shield.
Yep.
And then she picks up his shield at a certain point, just to embarrass him
with
further.
The kick flip.
Yeah, she does the kick up, from Winter Soldier. At first, I thought that was John Walker doing it. I'm like, no, holy shit! But she does it. And I'm like, oh, John Walker's getting pretty upset. He's supposed to be this great heroic character. He's not living up to it because he's only human.
Yeah.
And he's getting frustrated. He's like, he also has to compare himself to Steve Rogers, who John Walker can't fight like 3 ladies or whatever he's thinking in his head. Steve Rogers took down Hydra, basically. I mean, he fought Ultron even though he was told he can't stand up to him. He survived a punch from Thanos.
and held Thanos from closing his fist and using the gauntlet for a second, to where even Thanos is like, how are you?
I love his expression.
How are you doing this? And he's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna punch you in your face.
I don't like bullies, no matter where they're from. Whereas John Walker's like, I was a bully. But and Zemo escapes through the floor. Bucky's arm is disarmed.
That is
Just
great.
A few quick pinches.
Almost reminds me of Hill Bill and the 5-point exploding heart technique.
It reminded me of Star Trek, like when Spock hits you with like that, the stun where he just grabs your shoulder or whatever.
Yeah, the Vulcan, whatever the fuck.
Death grip, but it's not always actually death. Sam's like, "Do you know it could do that?"
Nope.
He's like, "No." Thankfully for all of our main characters, even the villainous ones, Zemo escapes, so they leave, and they could literally right there claim the shield and the arm and take them back.
Yes.
But they don't do that.
No.
They let Walker have the shield, and they let Bucky pick his arm back up, and just, I thought he might be armless for a while, but it just sets right back up. It's got a little notch. You plug it in, the arm's good to go. He like does a full swinging motion. Yeah, now everyone is just like, Zemo's gone. John Walker's super pissed. And well, before this happens, I forgot for a moment. Before this battle happens, maybe even earlier in the episode, this is an important conversation Zemo has. Well, the first time they go to the apartment, Zemo has the conversation about the superhero serum, where like anyone who wants that power is a supremacist.
Yeah,
the line really close to that. Like if you seek it out, and if you look at it, you're like, Bucky didn't want it. Steve didn't know what he was getting at. So they're different. It also, obviously, all this superhero serum stuff, we don't know if it works the same way as the old serum because it's not even derived from Caps. It's derived from Isaiah Bradley.
Yes.
But of course, the old serum, the line from First Avenger is, I need a good man, not a good soldier.
Yes.
And because it amplifies your personality to an extent where Red Skull was such a rotten on the inside, he turned out rotten on the outside too.
Yeah. Whereas
Steve Rogers just became more like triumphant,
ultra
and vigilant.
Steve Rogers.
And
so much so that he fully embraced the founding fathers, and basically in Winter Soldier became a libertarian. It goes against the government. So yeah, it's beautiful, man. I fucking love MCU Captain America. This isn't fucking security. This is fear, you dumbasses.
Yeah, that's a great line from that movie. But they have that whole conversation, which is very interesting, especially Zemo, I guess, isn't really a German, even though the actor is.
Yeah.
But, coming from that idea, and he's like Nazis lead to Avengers. And then they kind of overdo the line where Bucky's like, no, Falcon's like, they're our friends. And Bucky's like, the Avengers, not the Nazis.
Yeah.
Which is true to Bucky because he fought Nazis. Like that was his first job. But
I think it's I almost think it's a tongue-in-cheek thing about knee-jerk reactions to perception over intent in the world. Whenever somebody says something, it doesn't matter what they were intending. It matters what one person, whoever's got the most followers on Twitter, thinks
Takes it.
or projects their own thoughts, insecurities, or legitimately just starting shit so they can get clicks. I kind of think that was a little like, guys, use context. I do. I honestly feel, because there's almost no other reason for that line, because no one in that room was going to think that he meant Nazis. Like, even Bucky has proven that he's not as dense as Steve was coming out of the ice, because Bucky at least, was operating and off and on in ice
throughout the decades.
Exactly. Yeah. So he got a little bit more context. So I think I kind of like it, at least in my head.
I have no problem with it.
That it was a little dig at knee-jerk reactions. So
there's that conversation. And then later, maybe it's even that same scene. I feel like it was after Zemo got it. Whatever. Zemo asked Sam Wilson if he would take it. Sam Wilson's like, no, immediately.
Yep.
And Zemo's basically like, that's why I like you.
Yeah. You're good with me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to betray you, and maybe I'll even try to kill you eventually, but I like you.
Yeah. For now, we're all right.
So he's gone. Everyone's pissed about it. Don't they break up again? John Walker and Hoskins. Yeah, because John Walker and Hoskins go off and they have a similar conversation with Walker having the vial in pocket.
Yep.
About would you take it? And then they have the conversation you were talking about earlier about Afghanistan and the medals they won for it, but the things they had to do.
Yeah.
Which is war in real life.
Yeah.
For a soldier.
The moments with I've been so pleasantly surprised at the handling of Bucky and Walker. Like I said, I know he's the bad guy, but if you guys can't see some of the stuff that they're saying with him, this is better than what is it, Cherry? I
actually didn't see it because I heard it wasn't very good.
It's the stereotypical PTSD.
Yeah, and that's the one with Tom Holland, directed by the Russo brothers.
Versus
on Apple TV now.
Yeah, versus the most common, which is what Walker looks like. People that are, I want to do the right thing. I'm going to do what my superiors asked, as long as it's within the limits of the law. We don't know what all of the laws are for, post blip, but he's
that's right. He was probably serving during the blip.
Yeah,
unless he was blip too.
Yeah, he's a soldier first, and I brought up all of the additional stresses that most people don't even think about. They only see the military when we're deployed, because that's all they ever show on the news is the deployments, and then they only see what they see on TV. And there are a lot of really bad cases of PTSD, drugs, murder, suicide. There's also a lot of us that are like Bucky that sit there and cry it out and work through it hard to make sure that we can function, in society.
Which Marvel has addressed since Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
That's Falcon. When Sam Wilson invites him after the jog to come down and talk with talk it out.
And he brings up, of course,
he's a soldier.
Yeah, he's a airman. But
no, I mean Cap was a soldier.
Cap was, yeah.
Like the war.
The cool thing, and I don't know if you might know this, but I don't know how many people in the audience know this, and this is something I don't think got enough credit in the Winter Soldier movie. They made Sam Wilson part of the pararescuers. And for those of you that don't know, that is like the smallest and the hardest special forces group in the military. They're beyond Rangers, beyond Green Berets, beyond Marine Recon. Yeah, I'm making fun of you, Jarheads. It's all right, right? At that Kyle Malone. Army, who, anyways, the pararescuers, man, their job is basically, okay, guy is 80 miles behind enemy lines. We're going to meet you here in 6 days. Here's a sidearm. Go get him.
Wow.
There's more to it than that, but that is legit. One of their missions is going behind enemy lines and rescuing or extracting allies, necessary targets, things like that. Jumping into extreme conditions, whether it's weather or biological nuclear contaminations, things like that. That's what they do. They made him one of the most badass of the badass the United States military can offer, and that does come from the Air Force. But I will remind everybody, it used to be the United States Army Air Corps. Just saying.
Love it. Love the background knowledge, and just adds to, I mean, like this is Marvel. It's mythology, but it's also clashing with the real world.
Yep.
People act realistically, even if we can call a different multiverse than our own, with different, like we discussed, different presidents, like what have you. So, and I think, okay, so back to they're at like some public place having the conversation, Hoskins and Walker, and Hoskins says immediately he would take it, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's like,
hell yeah, I would take it.
Hells yeah. Like he says it just like I would say, fuck. No, I would have said, fuck yeah.
Give me some of that shit.
Hit me up.
John Walker seems less clear about it, but we know what he's gonna fucking do.
Yeah.
He's John. I mean, even if you haven't read the comics, you've been watching him being like, he seems a little unstable to be given that much power. Even without the serum, he's becoming a supremacist.
But part of it,
the way that Zemo talked about it.
Well, he is to a degree, because he's got that lust for power, but he's almost at like Darth Vader, almost at like Zemo, even if you will. He looks at the soldiers, the super soldiers, that could beat his ass, and he's like, well, fuck, okay, that makes sense. They're super soldiers, but with my equipment and training, I held my own. I need more training. But then he gets his ass handed to him by the AO and her friend, the Dorma
Melage, maybe. I think you're right when you said that.
And that's when he's like, they weren't even.
Yeah, he has that conversation with Hoskins.
I know what that feels like, to feel useless and not be able to keep up. I've got medical issues that forced me out of the army. That's not how I wanted to go. So yeah, you bet your ass he's thinking I won't be able to keep this shield if I don't get stronger. And if I don't get stronger and I lose the shield, then I've failed my job. You guys don't understand what that's like for service members. For a good service member, even if they're not the best person, if they've got the right mentality of soldiers soldiers and mission first, your family second, and always yourself last, like that shit gets to us, and when we can't do it anymore, it hurts. And yeah, fuck. I mean, me right now, and I could be a very, very, very angry person. I'd probably end up like, well, I'm mostly Irish, so I'd be Green Skull. I don't know. But to go back in, or have been able to have a chance to stay in, I'd jack myself with back alley extremists.
Even though you might explode.
I'm kind of getting emotional, not meaning to, so we need to move on. But I want people to understand Bucky. Like, I got this, and this is me not taking anything from Sam, because I cannot personally relate to everything that Sam's going through, but I can relate with Bucky Walker and Hoskins even as a NCO, as a subordinate to this officer, and I am seeing more realistic portrayal, not betrayals, more realistic portrayal of my brothers and sisters in the military from a fucking comic book show than fucking 80-90 million dollar Hollywood movies.
Yeah. And
thank you guys. Thank you. I'm gonna just use the character. Well, I thank you, Mackie, Stan, and I forget who's playing Walker and Hoskins, but
that's easy. Russell. His last name's Wyatt Russell. He's Kurt Russell's son.
Wyatt Russell. And the great gentleman that plays Hoskins. And of course, thank you to the writers, the director. You guys got any military advisors? Thank them, because whatever you guys did some awesome stuff. And let's talk Falcon, because it's his story too.
And that's why I also, in addition to just being a great person, Kyle, I love having you on the show. You know, with WandaVision, it's not really the same where it comes into play.
Oh yeah.
But with this show, like you have insights to almost, I don't think any other Marvel shows I've watched, I mean, like, podcasts or videos I've watched have had the same context because of your experience.
Oh, thanks.
So
glad to bring something.
Pretty great. Well, I did forget one other moment, but I think I just forgot it again. There was some conversation somewhere. Anyway, to get to they don't know where to go next. No one knows where to go next. But until Sam's sister gets a call from Carly, and it's threatening. That's the whole point. Reason you call someone else's family. But they also have the conversation about, like, that shield don't represent me. That shield don't represent me on both sides. So like it's a sympathetic-esque conversation until she's like, "Oh yeah, I know the name of your kids. So like, make sure Sam shows up, or I can make a trip to Louisiana, just stop by, check out the boat and your family."
Yeah, it was close to being threat-mantic. No, that's a Fairly Odd Parents joke. Anyways, carry on.
So that's how they get Sam. That's how they get the information. Sam and Bucky show up first. He said to come alone, but he comes with Bucky. He's pissed because his family just got threatened. She insists that she would never do that. And then they have another, kind of discussion about, what it means to belong to either side at this point in this weird period in Marvel history, but like U.S. history in this world, where, like they are a sympathetic group more than Zemo probably.
Yeah. Well, and at least for me, until you start killing, civilians or non-government, non-military targets, then I have no sympathy or anything for your group. Can go fuck themselves.
Things seem to be going fine, and then battle. Well, here's the thing I forgot to say earlier. Earlier in the episode, there's a call from Sharon Carter, where she's like, "Power broker's real pissed off. Like, you killed the golden goose, and shit's going down in Madripoor." So I stick to my opinion. She's not the power broker, though she could be referring to herself like that. I just think she's high up, especially she's walking through like alleys in that scene and getting like a nod from the people guarding that section of town.
Yeah, I think she's important to the power broker's.
Think she said it to him in the report.
Yeah,
I would buy it.
I'll be pleasantly surprised if she is the power broker.
I wouldn't mind it.
I wouldn't be upset. I'm
also not expecting it,
but yeah, I don't think so. But that would be it fits. It's an obvious good twist, but that doesn't mean that it's the only twist that there could be, or that's the twist there will be. So
I actually just read a leak. Do you want to know what the power broker is?
No.
It was Agatha.
All along. And I
every Marvel movie ends that way from now on.
I loved how, like, immediately I was like, no, it wasn't. And the writer came out a couple weeks ago and was like, yeah, it's so funny how it's not Agatha all along. I'm like, WandaVision was such a joyous
I
fucking
love it.
ride.
Well, I like this one even better, even though this is what a lot of people call the back to reality, less funny buddy cop stuff, like Down and Dirty, as we're getting into right now. Because somehow, again, I believe they've just been tracked without them explaining it. And Hoskins and a now juiced John Walker show up and kind of break up the conversation. There's some running into other buildings. There's fighting. Hoskins is kind of taken hostage for a very short period of time and cuts himself out. And they're all, fighting and stuff. And Hoskins is like running into a battle where everyone else is a super soldier or has a super suit. Yep. Falcon's all falconed up. And when I forgot what he's trying to do. He's like trying to save Walker or something, right? When he gets punched by Carly.
Yeah, well, yeah. But
and we know, okay, so the fight's going on for a little bit too. We know John Walker has a superhero serum. He just destroyed a guy in the stairwell, kind of like reminiscent of the Civil War fight.
Yep.
He's thrown his shield into the wall and dragged it back out. He's obviously juiced.
Yep. And he finds Sam and Bucky, and he's like, they got Hoskins, and
they understand that.
Yep.
Like, they're like, we'll rescue your man. Like,
yep, let's go save him.
Because he's literally his partner. Whereas earlier in the episode, they refer to, doesn't he call Bucky Sam's partner? And it's like, we're not partners.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's his wingman. Or even like the only reason, like I said in an earlier episode, the only reason he's the wingman and not the guy in charge is the U.S. government gave the shield to Walker. If they give it to Hoskins, then Walker would be the wingman.
Yeah, well, they gave it to a captain in the United States Army, so and Hoskins was a sergeant major. Like so yeah, so the fight's happening, and Hoskins gets punched. Should have been a first sergeant, but that doesn't fit Battlestar. But anyways,
falls in, throws. It's actually a really sad scene. I felt. We're not supposed to be too happy about those two. Hoskins hasn't really done anything wrong.
No.
Except for be like, I got a superhero name. Even this is off Bucky. Battlestar. He dies. Some people have been like, do you think he'll come back? And I'm like, no, that would take away all the oomph.
Yeah.
Killing him is like killing Stark or Black Widow, even though we don't know him as long. It's a moment. It just happens. And it's a good reminder of I think I mentioned this earlier when we were talking before, like that they don't kill off people enough in Marvel. Like I entered the show being like, no one I like is going to die.
Or like, they kill off the wrong people, and you're like, damn it, don't kill that guy. Hi.
Like, some people do die, like Yondu, but it's mostly villains every movie. You don't get a lot of, unless it's an Avengers movie, you don't expect a death, I will say, in that kind of sense. Like if you're going into Endgame and Infinity War, you're like, yeah, several of them will die permanently. So he gets hit, and he just gets hit against a pillar and breaks his neck. He's dead.
Yep.
John Walker, like, next to the body, like, come on, man. Like, no. Your typical friend.
Yep.
Reaction. And he gets really, really pissed off. And he jumps out a window. Does a superhero landing, which even Cap doesn't do often because Cap usually uses the shield to break his fall.
Yep.
And he runs out and he catches just one of them. Because I believe it was Carly or whatever who threw the punch. But he finds the one guy who liked Cap as a kid, and he just rails on him. The same even shot as when Captain America almost killed Stark, but he took it back.
Well, no,
for the chest instead of the head.
He was never going for the head. He was always going
there's a moment of hesitation, but that's why Steve Rogers is Steve Rogers.
No, he was aiming the shot.
Are you sure there wasn't a moment where he's like, the world
would
be
easier
all if I killed Stark?
Go back on the scene, and
Stark definitely thinks so, even if
Stark thinks it, because Stark isn't
not
thinking, and he's not Steve, and just like Bucky does the same thing, and that's what Steve had been trying to tell Tony. It's done, dude. He's not that guy. At least
I
not
don't
right this
care.
moment. And
He
then
killed my mom.
right, but you can even see Bucky doesn't try to kill Tony. He tries to pull the arc reactor out. So no, there's not even a moment where Cap thinks it would be. No, absolutely not.
Well, there's a
not.
moment where it looks like it, even for the audience being like he wouldn't do that.
Tony's
and obviously, you know
doubt.
he's not going to do that.
Yeah,
you can't have him kill Tony Stark before the next Avengers movie.
Right. They were showing you Tony's doubt, not Steve's doubting himself or anything like that.
But here we have a maniac who does rain down fire on a super soldier, and we don't get to see it. It's a Disney show. He decapitates him.
Yeah. No. He broke his chest. They do show it.
I thought it was in the neck still.
No, it's still the chest.
Well, he kills the dude.
Because he hits him several times.
Kills the guy. Dead. And then, he's caught up in it. Breathing heavily, looks around. Everyone looks horrified, even Falcon and Bucky, and he's being recorded by 1,000 people.
Yep.
Which is the episode title refers to, and it's what happens these days. Whether it happens to a cop or someone else, like, the world is watching. Like, you can't get away with stuff that you would have gotten away with before everyone having a camera in their pocket.
Yep.
Whether it's good or ill. And this is, it's to be expected. His best friend was killed in front of him. He's not Steve Rogers.
Mm-mm.
That would be, I think, my reaction if I was a super soldier and someone killed my best friend. It's and that's what separates Steve, is that even when Steve's friend is in trouble, he wouldn't kill. Even if Bucky got killed by Stark, Steve wouldn't have killed Stark.
Nope.
Which is why there's the whole line earlier where, like, have you seen another Steve Rogers?
Yeah. And the answer is no. We have not.
Then it ends with the best image of all time. U.S. agent uniform, even though he's Captain America, but blood coating the bottom of the shield.
Why is that the greatest image of all time?
I don't know. It's just like, it's power. It's one of the most powerful Marvel images I've ever seen. We haven't seen blood on the shield.
No.
Like, it's the symbol with blood on it, and then the man who's supposed to be. Oh, that's a powerful fucking ending for me. That was like, oh shit, this is like one of the best hours of Marvel I've ever seen.
Why?
What?
What makes it power? Why is that imagery so powerful for you?
Well, it has to do with, like, the shield is something pure. It's a symbol.
Mm-hmm.
Even though this isn't the same one. Yeah, it's an idea. Even though this isn't the same shield Cap used, because his got broken, and this is a slightly different design when he hands it over to some different rivets and
no, he wasn't a different universe. So
yeah, exactly. No, but it is a different shield. It's like, you just got blood on the shield. It's like getting blood on the flag almost. It's like, what the fuck did you do? That's not Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
But so that's
imagery.
The episode. Yeah, exactly. Symbolism as well. So here's my major question after the episode. Does the MCU version of the US government take the shield back? Do they kind of downplay it like cop shootings, but not show it all over the place? Or do they show it all over the news and they're like, hey, if you're a terrorist, this is what's going to fucking happen to you?
Honestly, this is where I don't know what Marvel's got planned. I really don't. It could go either way. No matter who it is, what branch it is, who the perp was, who the victims were, whether it was in the States, on base, off base, overseas, on base, off base, the United States government and every government with military, especially,
supposedly still exists, even though this is America's Captain America, not freelance.
Right, but he's working with the GFC, and he's probably been given clearance by
GRC,
or GRC. But what was I trying to get at?
What were you? The answer to my question: which of the three options do you think they'll take?
Oh yeah. So you could kind of you could see all governments would want to cover up an asset that does the wrong thing, a military or intelligence asset. That's diplomacy / spying / doing what we really shouldn't be doing. 101 cover up.
Which is
so
not
yeah,
entirely possible.
it's not entirely
like I said, they can brush it
possible.
under the rug, but a
They could
bunch
try.
of people are putting that online.
Yeah. So that's, of course, they're going to want to try to clamp down, put a spin, but you really can't. There's too much footage. So
the spin is he killed a dangerous super soldier.
Right.
You don't even bring up his partner. It's not revenge. He killed a dangerous terrorist.
Exactly. So then you
forget the rage that you see in the shots on the cameras. He was doing his job to defend America.
Doing his job to
and
not
the
just
GRC.
America, the in accordance with the Sokovia Accords. He was protecting international bodies. Yes, that's the other one. Spin. And then the third option is the least likely, which is they go, "Oh fuck, we messed up," and they're like, "No, get him." I think that's the least likely.
I agree. I don't think they take it back to shield at all, because that would also be admitting mistakes, which is what some governments are not good at doing. Being like, "Oh, we fucked up."
Name one government that admits when they fuck up.
Exactly.
So, it's a possibility because he might go rogue himself, where he's not even giving them the chance to explain it away. Like he goes off on his own. You know what I'm saying?
Full psycho, in case this drug works the same way as the original.
Well, maybe, yeah, or that the fact that he's already got PTSD and it's just an already broken guy. Not
his best friend died.
Right.
That's a big life-changing moment. Like
right.
I said.
Not that he's necessarily more broken because of the serum, because the guy talks about perfecting it, you know. So, and he was talking physical stuff, but maybe there's some mental stuff.
They don't look like Chris Evans. Right. It's basically a casting right away. So it's like, we don't have to cast people who look like super soldiers.
And there might be some mental aspects to it as well. Maybe,
I know the original
maybe not.
had mental aspects. That's what
exactly. So with Walker, if he goes full psycho, the government will and should distance themselves. But of course, the most likely scenario is the put spin on it. He was killing a bad guy.
On it, try to bring him in and talk to him.
Yep. Because you want to find out what he needs a debriefing. You got to find out what the story is, because all we see is the end result. So yeah, it's all going to depend on what he does next, on what the governments of the world even's responses should be.
On the plus side, we only have 7 more super soldiers as far as we know.
Yeah,
that are villain in that group. Now we might have John Walker as a different villain. Depends how they shake it.
Yep.
Ugh, such a good episode. Was it your favorite so far, or it was mine by far?
Good. I really enjoyed Madripoor.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
It's been a good couple of weeks for the two shows that I've been watching, this one and the anime Dr. Stone. I just had the greatest episode ever with that show, and you guys can hear us talk about that on the Anime Versal Reviews podcast, wherever you get podcasts, and on the YouTube channel. So yeah.
Always the salesman. So one last question, and then you can share anything else you'd like to share if you can think of anything else. I'm almost spent. So the news report came back again this week. That was from a few weeks ago, that we're getting a giant cameo this week, a character we've never seen, but played by an actor that we're all going to be like, holy shit. This is like close to what the quote says. It's the same character that the writer has been teasing that he'd love to team up with Thor, even though he's more earthbound. Any ideas of the character? I don't think we can guess the actor. There are too many fucking actors. And he did say it's a new character. It's from Marvel Comics, but we haven't seen him in the MCU or her.
I know you said maybe Mandarin. I think that's a likelihood, because there's Iron Man connections there, Rhodey there,
And then we're
Armor
going
Wars,
into
Shang-Chi's
10 Rings
coming
also.
up.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know if you want to give him away in the show, though.
Could be the power broker himself and the actor that's playing him.
I'm gonna.
They got like an A-lister they're hiding or something.
Did they say did the writer give a gender away by chance, by accident, or anything?
I think he may have said he. But I'm not sure.
I was gonna say if it's not he, I would say what is it, Bardock, the female that helped Doctor Doom often. She gets blown up and turned into an android. I think it might something like that. I think we might potentially, like I said to your theory that we might see or hear Latveria, I said I don't want to see it, but I could hear it or maybe see its name, and that would be okay. This lady's, I can't think of the character. Let me hold on. Let me see if I can.
Kyle is searching. This is the Kyle is searching music.
Kyle is searching music. I love it. That's great. Keep it going. No.
Kyle is searching. This is the searching.
Lucia Von.
Sing it every time on
I got
the show.
it.
Okay.
Lucia Von Bardis. She is who I thought. She's a Latvian politician. Prime Minister for Doom. She was like the ambassador, if you will, as well, like always going out from Doomstadt and Latveria to talk to other people. So yeah, that's who I think I would like to see that. You guys really want to be clever and give us some Doom without Doom, but put in Von Bardis. But if it's a guy, I have no fucking clue. Who do you think?
Here's who I'd like it to be, even though it's kind of breaking the rules he mentions, but not really. I would love to see, I don't know what actor you cast that would blow everyone's mind. I really want to see a flashback to Elijah Bradley fighting the Winter Soldier.
That would be kind of cool.
I don't know who you can. And we talked about this in Breaking Great of the podcast, and Jonesy's like, "Oh, that guy could play him." And we're like, "Jonesy, he's 70 years old." He's like, "Yeah, but they're still adding old man makeup to him."
Yeah.
I mean, not to be racist or stereotypical, but you know the term, black don't crack. I have no idea how old Samuel L. Jackson is. He's much older than I usually think when I look it up.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, like, if
I've
they're
never
adding
heard that
old
in my
man
life.
makeup to him, what?
I've honestly never heard that phrase in my
You've
life.
never heard that phrase?
No.
It just means you age better.
I mean,
that's all it means.
Yeah, I got the context of it. There's lots of not any. I've never heard like a mnemonic type saying, but you know, people will talk about how like a lot of Asians seem to age slower, but like I've never heard what you said. Like I've never heard.
I hope it's not racist.
I've never heard anything. I wouldn't necessarily consider it. Might be.
It is a stereotype, and stereotypes can be racist, but I think it's a positive. Like look at
your context is fine.
Denzel Washington does not look that much.
Don't over explain it. Your context is golden, dude.
I was just gonna say.
No, anybody thinks anything, go fuck yourself. But
no, here's what I was gonna say.
I've just never heard it before.
John David Washington is Denzel Washington's son, and I'm like, no, they look way too close in age to be father and son. But Denzel's like late 50s or 60s, and you're like, fuck, no, he isn't.
Yeah,
and his son is like late 30s or no, late 20s or 30s, and you're like, they could be brothers, not father and son.
It's crazy the genes that's so look at Paul fucking Rudd.
Well, Paul Rudd is like he found the fountain of youth.
He bathes in the blood of nuns and babies or something. I don't know. Not that he kills them.
Nuns
he doesn't
and
have
baby
to kill
nuns.
them. Baby nuns. He bathes in baby nuns' blood, and he doesn't kill them because he's a good guy.
He just sold to him.
He encourages them to do good like to donate blood and plasma, and then he just buys that. He's not a monster. He's just wanting
He's
to
Paul
live
Rudd.
forever.
He's
Yeah.
only a monster if he ruins Ghostbusters.
He might be its only saving grace. What are you talking
That's what
about?
I feel like right now. That scene is terrible, but he's not bad in it because he's Paul Rudd.
Oh man.
Baskin Robbins always knows.
Always. No.
Anything else you got?
I really plan on like reaching out or writing some of these people and congratulating them on their
Nailing it.
on their
The stuff you're related
military
to.
stuff.
Yeah. That's pretty yeah, it's pretty impressive. It's a good seal of approval, like me watching it, I'm like, feels right. But I don't have the same experience.
So yeah, I'm excited. It sucks. We've only got 2 episodes left.
Then we have to wait for Loki, June 11th.
I know because they pushed fucking excuse me, what you call it, and
Black
that sucks.
Widow.
But did
you see the poster for What If? It's just the Captain Britain,
Oh,
Peggy
yeah.
Carter, a few of the characters on it, and the Watcher. No, they're not called the Watchers, are they?
Yes,
They are.
He's
Okay.
Uatu, the Watch.
He's Uatu, the main one from the comics
that we know. Yeah, the one that we know.
It's a poster. It has Doctor Strange, Peter Quill. You can sort of tell that it's Chadwick Boseman. I mean, so not Peter Quill, but Star-Lord.
Yeah,
And Gamora, and like a Thor and stuff on it. But the tagline on it is Guardians of the Multiverse. Like they have a tagline. It's not just like, hey, what if? It's like, what if? Guardians of the Multiverse. It's like the name of season 1.
Interesting.
It's like, because that'll be our next one after Loki, I think.
Is it?
I think so, because no one else has a release date, and What If's been confirmed for summer, and Loki has a June 11th release date.
What If was confirmed for summer?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think it would be before Hawkeye and Miss Marvel. I can't remember who else is guaranteed to get a show this year.
It is. Just join us on an LR mornings or on the Cantina some week to hear me go, why the fuck can Marvel pump all this shit out and Lucasfilm can't
You're getting new Star Wars this
can't
summer
get off
also. It's
can't
the
get off-
animated garbage.
they can't get off their own idiocy. Like, what the fuck?
Obi-Wan shooting. It's like Marvel. Marvel didn't get anything out in the first year of Disney Plus.
Obi-Wan is shooting late because someone at Disney thought they could take a 2-hour movie and stretch it into a 6-hour series. And
That's
took
how you lead to dragging episodes, people.
Favreau and Feige, and this is all but confirmed.
This is all
ladies
real life
and
canon.
legit. Like, go listen to the last couple weeks of the Cantina, where we've heard from incredibly reliable sources, and not just us, KRT as well, that that's exactly what Lucasfilm tried to do. They took what was going to be the Obi-Wan movie and stretched it into the series, and we're like, let's go film. And everyone was like,
That's why they'd stop and
no.
rewrite, right?
This is garbage. What are you, Sony? And
Look, let's be fair to Sony. Warner Brothers also has no idea what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah,
at
that's
least
true.
DC. So
it is what it is. Whatever. Or I'm good. I'm loving the MCU right now. So
sweet. I guess we'll be back next week with episode 5. We're getting to the finale, the big bombshell reveals, the big action.
If any,
the action will top the first episode. Will be the last episode.
Yeah.
So with that, tune in. Kyle, where can they find you?
At that Kyle Malone on Twitter, at that one Kyle Malone on Instagram, and every day pretty much on some podcast or video on our YouTube channel. Just search LRM Online YouTube or the LRM Online Podcast Network, wherever you get your podcast from. Hit subscribe and follow and bells and all that so you know when shit hits the web.
And I'm at Nick Dahl. I do this show. I do Break Radio, the podcast, and I like to be an LRM Morningsman author. I also write for the website. And with that, Excelsior!
Enough said. Have a good one.